Bonjour everyone, Pantoufleee here today for a new video in which we're going to take a look at the new Battle Pass tank that will be coming in March, simply because, well, it's completely new. It's not based on a tank that we already have into the game. It's not just a reskin, and therefore it makes me quite intrigued about what this tank is capable of. So let's not lose too much time and jump directly into it. The description of the new Battle Pass just leaked as well, and it would be a good start for us to talk about it and read it together. So let's go. On March, Operation Desert Gold will start. We'll join an expedition to Africa looking for oil deposits. One of the main rewards will be a new German heavy tank, the Barkhan. This is an hybrid between a VK3001P and a VK3601H. Owner of the VK3101P will quickly get used to it because the tanks are similar in gameplay, but the new tank is slightly better armored but less mobile. Wargaming didn't do comparison with the VK3001P for no reason. You all know about this tank. It's not a commonly used one because most of the time people will tell you it sucks, and you have way better tanks at the same tier, for example the VK3601H that is truly dominating the battlefield. But still, Wargaming made a statement. They said it will be a slightly better armored tank, the Barkhan, with less mobility. So what would it look like? Wargaming stated that it has a better armor. So well, let's find out how much armor. Here you have an armor profile of the VK3001P, so a regular tank that is already implemented. And when we take a look at the turret, we see that it's already quite a strong one. Still, you can penetrate if you're lucky enough shooting at the right place on the gun mantlet, but I guess that if the Barkhan comes to the game, we will not have this problem anymore, because if it's slightly better armored, it should be a beast in all down. On top of that, you still have the cupola on the Balkan as well, and I'm suspecting Wargaming to keep it simply because all that area right there will be impenetrable. If it's the case, it would be quite juicy because it will remind you the Tiger 1 in all down or things like that. And as we all know, the Tiger 1 is a crazy tank in all down. The only thing on which I truly don't know what to say is probably the lower part or the hull in general. Because here, yes, it's truly lightly armored and it's quite easy to penetrate. But on our mighty Barkhan, well, we don't have a clue. If what Wargaming said is true, and based on this little bar right there that seems to be reinforced, we could expect this tank to be penetrable with regular shell only in the lower part of the hull. But I guess that it's not gonna happen, and we're gonna be disappointed when it comes to the hull, and you will get penetrated on that area as well. If it's the case, you will have to angle your tank properly in order to expect some bounces. Let's take a look at what I mean. Here we have a Tiger 1, and both Barkhan and Tiger 1 are quite similar in terms of aesthetic. If you keep your Tiger 1 in front of your opponents, you only have 180 millimeters of armor. But if you decide to angle it just a little bit, bang, you increase it. As you can see, going to 206, 210, depending on where I'm putting my mouse cursor. Well, it's something needed definitely with the Barkhan, so I guess it will be a tank that will be good only for people that know a little bit about angling. Of course, do not over-angle too much, because the more you angle, the easier it becomes to penetrate you on the side. So, well, yeah, you will win a little bit of millimeters, but not that much. But considering we're talking about a tier 6, maybe it will be effective. Let's analyze a replay of the VK3001P in order to discover what the Barkhan should be capable of. First of all, we need to mention, once again, what Wargaming said. You will have less mobility. Here, of course, this tank is a medium, whereas the Barkhan is a heavy. And of course, it's gonna affect its mobility. Here, when you're going at 40 kilometers per hour, even 45 if I'm not mistaken, based on the engine capacities, with the Barkhan you should get maybe to 30 at max. And well, even if it doesn't seem like it's a lot, you will have a better armor. With the VK3001P, you do not allow yourself to bounce anything. It's not gonna happen, and you're not here to take any shots. You need to adapt. And to do this, you need to make sure that you're not in direct fight with your opponents. And how do you do that? By circling and things like that, like I'm doing right now. If I was playing with the Barkhan, here I wouldn't go right there. I would be directly at the windmill, being in all down and trying to sneak shots on ARL, VK and KV2 that were lurking around right there. And of course, it's going to be a game-changing feature for lovers of the VK3001P, because both tanks are not gonna be the same. Please don't take the risk, if you truly love your VK3001P, to buy the Barkhan thinking it will be the exact same tank, because it's truly not gonna happen. And another thing to mention is the gun depression. Usually on German tanks you have an average gun depression, but here it's not necessarily the case, as you have, if I'm not mistaken, more than 6 degrees of gun depression with the VK3001P. And as Wargaming never said anything about the gun on the Barkhan, we can probably expect both tanks to have the same one. And if it's the case, I'm not gonna tell you that it's the best gun ever, because in terms of DPM it's quite average, but for the rest of the perks, the accuracy, the gun depression and things like that, it's truly a good one. So yeah, you will just have to adapt, and if you do so, if you try to find positions in all down, you will be sure to do a good game. Now, of course, if Wargaming is keeping a good gun depression on the Barkhan, it's probably because they know it's a tank that needs to be played in all down, which implies that it's a good tank in terms of armor on the turret. And well, if it's the case, it should be just like your traditional regular heavy tank that will not bring any more to the game, not much. I mean, we already see plenties of tanks and heavy tanks that are good in all down and bad in regular terrains, and it shouldn't be an exception, the Barkhans. Well, it's just another lame tank, but at least this one has one thing for him. It has those special aesthetic, and it's not necessarily based on a tank that is already available into the game. And well, this is a good thing enough for me to tell you that it's probably going to be worth it. But do not worry, in both cases I'm gonna do a whole summary, a whole review of the tank when it will be out. So right now we have to wait 23 more days to know what kind of tank is waiting for us. And well, we can only dream about its abilities right now because we don't have access to the statistics yet. Hopefully you enjoyed. If that's the case, feel free to subscribe, like and share, and tell me in the comments if you think the Barkhan will be a good or a bad tank, and if it's really gonna bring something else, as it's a new tank, a truly new tank, not just a copy paste, or do you think it's just another way of for Wargaming to make people buy their battle pass? And personally, I'm gonna see you soon for a new video. Bye.